Hello and welcome to 10 Questions for Strategic Planning. This is another installment of Business Plans for Small Business presented by Strategy Simple. My name is Rob Trube. I'm president of Strategy Simple, and I will be guiding you through our 10 questions presentation. So today, here's what we're going to be covering. We're going to start out with what happened this year. We're then going to go over what do you want for your business next year. We're going to discuss what are the 10 questions you can ask yourself to help make next year better than this year. Then we're going to discuss what usually happens during this process. We're going to talk about what you must do, and then we're going to give you a little bit of a secret to different outcomes. So without further ado, let's get started. What happened this year? You really do need to reflect on this past year. Whether you identify your year end in December or not, typically the end of the year is a great time to take stock of how things went in the past year. This year it's 2010. Most business owners and entrepreneurs tend to have a pretty short focus. They're typically only looking 2 to 3 months in the past or in the future, and as a result, they often don't take time to reflect on what worked, what didn't, and what they should be focusing on long term. You really should have a little bit of a longer focus for your business, typically 1 year at least. We typically advise our clients to have anywhere from a 3 to 5 year plan as well. As you're beginning to look back and as we enter the time that you start planning, you should be able to carve out some time to sit down and reflect really on this past year. To start, you should think back to where your business was at the beginning of the year, in January of 2010. What were your goals for that year, and did you achieve them? If you didn't, why not? Um, Many business owners are surprised, quite frankly, by the progress that their business made or didn't make. They just have to take a time to sit back and reflect on it. So, are you okay where this year has ended up? And if not, what are you willing to do about it? So looking forward, what do you want out of your business in this next year in 2011? Well, you really need to think about what you want for this coming year. And again, like I said, will it be different than in 2010? And are you willing to do things any differently? So as we look forward, there's 10 questions you really need to ask yourself. And the main question is what is your revenue goal for 2011 versus 2010? Just because your revenue goal, you should obviously project for growth if you can. If it's going to be a down year, then you should realistically project for that. The next one is what will you measure other than revenue to track your progress? What we find is a lot of our clients typically don't have any measurables for their business. Measurables can have a lot of different words. They can call it metrics or key performance indicators or KPIs, measurables. But what is it that you're going to track in your business to know that you're succeeding or making progress? The next thing you should look at is, are there new or additional products or services that you should add to what you're offering? A lot of times people kind of get stagnated. They don't really look at ways that they can grow their business. And one of the ways that you can grow your business is to either have add-ons or value-add products that you can offer for sale. The next question is, are there products or services that you should drop or discontinue? Kind of along the same line of thinking, a lot of people don't think about dropping a line or a product because it's losing money because they've always sold it and they feel that they need to. The next question is do you need a new strategy moving forward? That's a pretty tough question, one that really needs to be addressed. But if your strategy is not performing at the levels that you're expecting, does it make sense to keep pursuing that same strategy, or should you change it up? The next few questions are pretty interesting. What are the biggest frustrations that you experienced this year, and what can you do about them? A lot of people just kind of forget about the things that made this year tough or made the past year a little bit tougher than it should have been. And a lot of times there's a consistent frustration that you could address if you just thought about it. The next one is who are your most valuable employees? Now I'm going to assume that you do have employees. If you don't have employees, if you're a one-person consultant group or something like that, obviously maybe you need to take a look in the mirror. But if you do have employees, did you recognize them? And on the same line, who are your challenge employees? Who are the people that maybe aren't your most valuable or aren't your easiest to work with? And what are you going to do about them? Are they going to stay with your organization, or is it time to maybe add some new faces? Then you have to look at the same line as who are your most valuable suppliers or vendors? Are there some that you should maybe stop doing business with? There's always a case where with some suppliers it's really just not worth doing business with them. Either they have tough credit terms, or they're always late, or they negatively impact your business. On that same line again, who are your best customers? And don't just think about most profitable, but also think about the ones that were the easiest to work with. Usually those are not the same ones. But the main question is can you find more like them? Do you have an ideal customer profile? Do you know the exact type of customer and what they look like, both from a bunch of different data, so that you can find more customers like your best customers? Here's what usually happens. As you go through the process of asking yourself those 10 questions, you're going to have a lot more questions. The 10 that we just covered is not a definitive list by any mean. The main thing to remember is that there are no right or wrong questions. And you can add your own questions, and quite frankly, most people add several. But again, just focus on the fact that there's not right or wrong. If it's important to you, then think about it and figure out a good solution for it. There are some critical actions as you're going through the process of asking yourself this strategic planning exercise. The main thing is you must write down your answers and responses to all of the questions. Don't just say you'll do it. Do it now. Do it when you're in the process. Do it when you're thinking about it. But sit down and do the exercise and write down your answers. And then once you have those written down, you've got a list. You've got somewhat of a strategic plan. So you need to review your list and track your progress to those. One of the biggest challenges is that most people, most business owners, don't have a plan for their business. They don't have a documented plan. So to that end, the secret to different outcomes, you must have a documented plan for your business, and you must review it on a regular basis. There's a recent study out by the Small Business Administration. They released it, I think, in 2007, where they tracked several businesses, and the findings were pretty amazing. The companies that had a documented plan for their business were 6 times more successful than those that didn't have it. That's both cash flow, profitability. There were several factors, and they ended up that they were 6 times more successful. The challenge is most people don't know how to do that. They don't have a way to create a simple business plan for their business. One of the products that we have, I'm not trying to do a pitch here, but you can check out the Simple Focus Plan at simplefocusplan.com, and that is a real simple business planning tool that you might be interested in. So I'm going to wrap this up with a quote from Paul Bear Bryant, who is the legendary football coach from University of Alabama's Crimson Tide. And here's his quote: "Have a plan, follow the plan, and you'll be surprised how successful you can be. Most people don't have a plan. That's why it's easy to beat most folks." Stop and look at that quote and think about it, and apply that same thinking to your business. Again, thank you. To learn more about the Simple Focus Plan, please visit us at www.simplefocusplan.com. Again, this is Rob Trube, President of Strategy Simple. Thanks for your time, and good luck with your strategic planning.